Rather than dropping in the January cold, the leaves, they simply hang on to the tree until they die. But there is such life-affirming beauty in those beautiful leaves that refuse to fall. I saw him from across the room. I thought he smiled at me, but I was wrong. Sometimes what breaks your heart can become the greatest gift.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I hope you had a good week. I had a very good week. I did a lot of writing this week, so I was very excited about that. I wanted to share with you a few things that are very personal for me. I encountered an old flame, an old boyfriend, and we had an encounter, and I want to talk to you about that. And I also want to talk about all these things that, well, I had preconceived notions about what my life would be like at 70 and just what aging in general would be like. That there was something about how I anticipated it all would be. When I was young and I thought of myself as being older, I never thought of myself, well, that someday I would be sweet and fragile. All I could see is that I would be old and I wouldn't be part of life and I would just have to be content sitting in my backyard and reading books, which does sound really good. But there's so much more to getting older than that, and my preconceived notions of what my life was going to be like at this age were all wrong. How about you? When you looked into the future when you were young, did you ever think about it? Or did you dread it? I know I certainly didn't look forward to it because I thought my life would be over. Well, nobody told me that when you hit like your middle 60s, you feel like you're almost born again. You feel like you've got another shot at life because you change. Everything about you changes. Some things, not so good, but a lot of things are really good. And those are the things that I try to embrace. But there are some things that were they were shocking to me. One of the most important things that I have learned is that the dread that I had for getting older was because I felt that I wouldn't be in control. I wouldn't be in control of my appearance or my mental capacity. I wouldn't be in control of having maybe a career. I wouldn't be in control of who I was as a woman. Maybe I would be sweet. Maybe I would be fragile. But I didn't think I controlled that. And I know my mother didn't feel she could control it. Age was something that you didn't enjoy. Age was something that happened to you, like a car accident. It's not that way. At least that's not how I see it. And that's not how I want you to see it. I think there's something so wondrous about the seasons. Those of us that live in a climate of 4 seasons, we get used to change. And after a while, I think we crave it. I never dreamed I could control so many things about my aging. And there's so many products, for your hair and for your skin. But basically, you get yourself a kind of a cool outfit and maybe monotone and some nice jewelry, some great lipstick, and a great haircut, and you're off to the races. You don't have to do more than that. And women nowadays are kind of rebelling against, this overly painting our face. And I like that. I like a little makeup every day, just that finished, polished look, but that's just me. I was born in 1955, so that's just how I look at things. But a lot of women today are going, if the guy doesn't have to put makeup on, why do I have to put makeup on? I feel kind of like an object at times. And I get that. I understand that. And I admire any woman's decision to do whatever she wants with her appearance. Because in the end, it doesn't have anything to do with her accomplishments or who she is. It's her expression. It's how she wants the world to see her. And I think that's beautiful. So I never judge anybody who doesn't wear makeup, or I never judge anybody who wears maybe what I think is a little too much makeup. And I fall into that category at times. I like to play with makeup. I like to play model sometimes, or before a date, I like to sit down and have a lot of fun with makeup. But again, is that my generation? I don't know. But I do it because it's fun and it makes me feel, makes me feel glamorous sometimes. And sometimes when I'm really, really stressed, I can sit down and I can start putting on my makeup, and it's like all my troubles just float away. I don't think about happiness so much anymore. I'm happy enough. But what I really want is peace. I want to feel that peace inside, to know that I'm on the right path, but that I'm willing to take a look at another road. When I was young, I honestly thought I would struggle with my weight until the day I died. I thought I would probably be right around 200 pounds because, my mom was, and I don't know. That's the way Italian people are in my family. They were bigger. My mom was 230 pounds even in her 80s. But what I realized was with my weight is that everything needs to be in balance, that it really didn't have a whole lot to do with what I was eating, but, was I eating my favorite foods, and were my favorite foods body friendly? And what I mean by that is I wanted to eat healthy so I could live a longer life and a better life. So then my food became more in balance with my goal of wanting to live longer. And eating, to me, to comfort myself, I realized that was out of balance. Because after I would eat too much, I would feel depressed. After I would eat too much, I would be so down on myself. Who needs that? I don't want to go through the next 15, 20 years thinking about what a miserable failure I am because I had one too many Oreos. And I do know that sugar ages me. It ages my bones and my muscles. It ages my face. So I don't want anything to do with sugar. Well, Sundays with the grandkids, a few cookies here and there, but in balance. My exercise, I'm not a big one for the gym, but I love to walk and I love to dance. So I have this balance in my life of doing things that I love to do, but it's moving my body, it's getting my heart rate up. But I never dreamed that loneliness was so much of a part of aging, and yet it is. And because you feel not perhaps part of the world, you can start to feel isolated. And feeling isolated goes along with feeling rejected. But sometimes rejection isn't rejection. Rejection is more of a state of mind. As we get older, we can see through people. We can see through situations. We have crystallized intelligence. So when we're at a party and somebody's being kind of a big mouth and showing off their new ring, and then they get the name of the designer wrong and they can't pronounce it, we sort of laugh inside. But we don't have disgust for that person, but we see through them. We see that they're trying to be something they're not. We see their vulnerabilities and we love them for that. At least that's how I see life. It's as if I can see through anybody. It's like, they're being so sweet to me on the street, and I know in 5 minutes they're going to try to sell me their car or something. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's a bonus of getting older. We have X-ray vision. But sometimes rejection is not rejection. It's just a way that people cope. When I got a divorce, I met somebody that I fell head over heels over. A great guy. And I knew his family. I was very, very close friends with his brother. And he swept me off my feet. And we had romantic adventures and dinners and candlelight dinners. I'm serious. Now, he wasn't rich, but he was extremely well off with a beautiful 3-story home decorated to perfection. We had everything in common. There was just one thing. He was so lovely when he was sober, but when he drank, he had a mean side. A very mean side. He treated me like a queen when he was sober. But when he drank, he seemed to always come back to the fact that that I didn't have very much money. And I remember once he said he was laughing because he lived in a beautiful large home, and he was in my tiny little apartment. And he said, I can stand in the kitchen and see every inch of your apartment. And he laughed. And he drank more and more. Our relationship went on for about 8 months. We talked about getting married. So it wasn't just one of those, fly-by-night relationships. He meant something to me. I had passion for him. And at the end, when he would drink and he would get mean towards me, I honestly, even though I was lonely, I just felt I can't do this. I just can't do this. And I broke up with him. And it was hard. It was hard for me and it was hard for him. And he knew why. But he said, you can't ever ask me to stop drinking. So that was that. That was 11 years ago. So I'm at a party, and there he is, and he's still single, and he's still handsome. And my heart we had not kept in touch, but when I saw him, my heart was like, And I went over to him because, like I said, I've known his family forever. And I said, "You look so good. I'm so happy to see you." And he took my hand and he said, "Beautiful as ever." And then I said, "Well, how have you been?" And we had a little bit of chit chat. And then I said to him, "I think of you. I really do. I think of you." And he took his drink and he kind of reared up his shoulders and his eyes got really cold. And he said, "That's funny. I never think about you. I never do." When I think about that night, it's like it goes in slow motion. When he looked at me and he said that, I just dropped my head and then I came right back up and I said, "Well, fair enough." And I put a smile on my face. And he didn't say anything. But I noticed he was tearing up. He had tears in his eyes. And I thought, okay, now what? What do I say now? It was so awkward. And it was so painful. And yet it was so enlightening. And it was maybe the ending we should have had. I don't know. Maybe it meant nothing. Maybe it meant everything. I don't know. But he squeezed my hand. I walked away. And that was that. But later, I did not take that as a rejection. Now you may say, "Wow, he really put you down. He really did reject you." But I saw it as just the opposite. I thought of his tears as giving me some type of validation that maybe I meant something to him and that I meant something that he just couldn't casually put a Band-Aid on and say, "Yeah, I thought about you too." Maybe he... Is it okay if I just say, "I don't know"? What it meant to me, deep down, was that rejection isn't always rejection, but that also you can't go home again. You can't exactly put that carton of spoiled milk in the refrigerator and then a week later go back and expect it to be fine. That I have to make sure that as I am getting older, that I'm not going back to these things that gave me so much pleasure when I was 20 years old, that I need new horizons, new challenges. And that I can control. I can control that. I can control saying, "You know what? These are the 3 things that I never did in life, but I always wanted to. And so now I'm going to do it." Loneliness is part of aging, but loneliness is also part of life. It just is. And I hear from married women who talk about, "Hey, I'm lonely as hell." But life is what we make it. And understanding that putting new things in our path can be very, very exciting. And that it gives us a life of harmony in every area. But it all comes down to the fact that we can control so much of how we age. We can control so much of how we live. And the parts that we can't control, they can be mysterious and they can be exciting and they can be so wonderful. Memories can be so much fun. I remember, I had such a big life and I was married, and my son had his friends over. They were in and out, and the back door was slamming, and the dogs and the cats were playing, and I had a gazillion friends, and my husband and I, we did so much together, and it was a big life. And now it's funny. Physical touch, I think, is what I miss the most.
I can't go back and relive my youth. I can't keep trying to succeed in things I know I will fail at. Something new. My life has to be something new. I won't keep hanging on to past glories like the weary winter leaves. I will prepare for spring and challenge that coming summer. I know I will find something new to fill my heart. But there is such life-affirming beauty in those beautiful leaves that refuse to fall.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Desi got a haircut. He had a whole spa day. He had so much fun. I have to double sweater him now. It's so cold outside, but please have yourself a very happy, safe, brand new week. And when you're done with your week, you come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right, it's a deal. I'll be here. Sometimes I have to hold up a green apple so the lighting will adjust to my skin tone, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's the hardest thing that I do when I film is trying to get a decent look or a decent skin tone, or just something accurate so you can really see what's going on. Not that you really want to, but sometimes you want to, sometimes you want to just know what's real and I don't know. I love how somebody once said to me, I think you use filters. Really, what filter would that be? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.